What is up, Cold Front Mafia? And what a freaking day for Bills Mafia. Oh my goodness. I can't even begin to explain what it was that we just watched in the 1 o'clock slate. We're watching right now to see if we can get any backing by the Denver Broncos losing a football game. Doesn't appear that that's going to happen, although they are up currently by 8 points at home against the Packers. Packers are driving 2nd and 8 on the Broncos 41. If we can get that, it'll be even a little bit more of a ceiling of today. However, the Jordan Love just got sacked. Anyways, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. What in the world happened? Let me tell you what the Bills do to my mental state of mind. Um, at some point or another is going to become an issue. It's almost there already, but it's going to become a big problem. They just simply can't stay consistent. However, they always, especially lately, just seem to figure it the hell out in the second half. They were down 21 to nothing at one point in the game today against the New England Patriots. Now, we talked about it pregame. We talked about it a few days ago. We talked about it in our keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills. This was a day that the Patriots could have hosted the Buffalo Bills at home in December on December 14th and put the clamps on the division on the AFC East. And while the Bills were in their stadium, along with all their fans and their entire staff on top of the roster and the players, put on their nice new crispy AFC East divisional champion hats and t-shirts and sweatshirts and all the above and really stuck it right in their face. And after about what seemed 45 seconds into the game, it looked and appeared like they were going to be doing that. They were up 21 to nothing. Scored in their first possession. Just slammed the ball down our throat. The very first play from scrimmage was about a 15-yard run right up the gut. Right up the gut. Couple of passes later. In the end zone, 7 points. Up 7 to nothing. Drake May rushed to the left end for an 8-yard touchdown. Well, what happens? Bills can't get out of their own way on their first possession. Give the ball back to the Patriots. They actually force the Patriots to punt the football back to them on their second drive. They only give up 21 yards, 14 on the ground and 7 through the air. They get the ball back after the Patriots punt. They get 6 more yards. You heard that right. 6 yards. And, excuse me, punt the ball back to the Patriots, who then jam it down their throat yet again. And at the end of the first quarter, the score was 14-0. Real quick, too. Real quick. It seemed as if you blink and you're down 14 points if you're a Bills fan. Pretty crazy, to be honest. I don't know. It was very scary. I was nervous, kind of crapping myself. We all were here in this house. Didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And if I'm being honest, the way that the Patriots were winning this game were just exactly what we were afraid of. And we said a few days ago that if this happened, we have even bigger problems. They were getting out physical. Shaq Thompson was on the field. Dorian Williams was on the field. They were just getting jammed. The line of scrimmage was moving in the direction of the New England Patriots, favoring the New England Patriots by 2, 3, 4 yards, what it seemed to be every single play throughout the first quarter and most of the second quarter as well. Patriots had I want to say I think it was a third down, quite honestly, on their first drive that was questionable play. It was 3rd and 7, or just a I don't know, a relatively simple fade route to Booty up the right-hand sideline, the right-hand side of the football field, just past Maxwell Harrison. It seems as if Maxwell Harrison plays a pretty good, solid, tight defense for the majority of the route. And just as the ball was getting into play of the receiver of Booty, Maxwell Harrison seemed to almost slow down. Maybe he didn't think the ball was going to come that way, and Booty just reached his hands out, catches the ball. It seemed to me live that the football, while in Booty's hands, also hit the ground, and he used the ground to help aid his catch. I could be wrong, and I could just be a Bills fan, but I'm actually watching this replay right now. Let's see. That's an incomplete pass. Throw the damn challenge flag. Nobody upstairs got their opinion down to McDermott fast enough. He didn't he didn't challenge the play. So their drive continues on that first drive that I was talking about, and they just run it down our throat. So at the end of the first quarter, they're up 14-0. The Bills look like, I don't know, they belong in high school, maybe. Literally in high school. Ray Davis had one of the better days that you'll ever see without a kick return for a touchdown for a kick returner. I don't know exactly how many yards he had. We can probably look this up, but it seemed as if every time he returned a kick, 4 returns for 164 yards, 41-yard average with a 58-yard long. So he's not really returning that ball from the end zone. He's returning that ball anywhere from the 1 to maybe the 12-yard line on average. So add 41 yards to that, and that's the average starting field position for the Buffalo Bills after kick returns, after the Patriots score or coming out of the second half. What really, really chapped me and got me going in the first quarter, just to start the dang football game, right after the Patriots come down and jam a touchdown down our throat, which made it look like, they might have scored 87 points today. That's the way they made it seem. We come out, we run a play action. Very first play after a large return by Ray Davis. We're somewhere around midfield where we start our first possession, the Bills. Play action, Brandon Cooks on a flag route, corner route. Josh Allen, he's got 3, maybe 4, 3 yards of separation. Josh Allen throws an absolute dime, hits Brandon Cooks right in his hands. He bobbles it 14 times. Does not get both feet in. Incomplete. That's how it started. So it was just brutal. I got to be honest, it was absolutely brutal. We're getting our asses handed to us in every facet of the game, with the exception of special teams with the return yet. We go into we score a touchdown. We were down 21-0. We score a touchdown with under 2 minutes left in the first half, in the second quarter. At the end of the first quarter, let's just take a look at this stat line here. At the end of the first quarter, the Bills had 16 rush yards, -2 pass yards, for a total of 14 yards on 7 plays. Wow. Forget about how good their offense is, the Patriots. Well, their defense certainly is not supposed to be that good, and they're not that good to hold the Buffalo Bills, mind you, to 14 total yards. 16 of those 14, think about that now. Do that math. 16 of the 14 total yards were rush yards, -2 pass yards. Josh Allen went down and was sacked a couple of times. Therefore, he had -2 total pass yards. That was the end of the first quarter. But we scored our first points with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half, which made it 21-7. And then what happens right after that? Well, we decide to let the Patriots come down with under a minute. Maybe a minute 40 or so. And kick a field goal at the end of the first half, make it 24-7. Going into halftime, 24-7, Bills losing. At that moment in time throughout that first half, I literally thought, and I'm not kidding, I literally had nightmarish thoughts that we weren't even going to make the playoffs. I'm not going to say, even when I admit the fact that we won a huge game and we did whatever it took to win a football game that we absolutely needed, which is at the end of the day, all that matters, especially in professional sports. You figure out a way to win the football games. That's all that matters, especially in professional sports, like I said, and then coming down the stretch of the regular season and going into playoffs, nothing else matters. Doesn't matter how it looks, doesn't matter how you play. You get your butt in a position to win a football game and you go out there and get a W. It doesn't matter. It can be ugly, it can be beautiful, whatever it takes, you win a football game in this case. Real quick, Green Bay actually still might have a chance to tie this football game. They got 1 minute left, 3rd and 15. They're in their own territory, down 8. My point is, this first half, I didn't know if we were going to make the playoffs. I was mad at everybody. Josh Allen missed a couple of open receivers. He did, like it or not. I don't care. Brandon Cooks dropped the very first ball that should have been a 40-yard reception. Very first play from scrimmage. That didn't make me very happy. Our defense was getting out physical. It seemed like the desire of the defense to stop the Patriots offense wasn't there. The mentals, physically, if you get beat, that's one thing, but it just looked like they just wanted it more than the Buffalo Bills did for quite some time. So that was very frustrating. I was not happy with the play calling from Joe Brady throughout this game, not just the first half, but a little bit in the second half as well. My sons and I were actually on a live stream, and there were multiple times that I said, hey, Bill's front office, Pagulas, I'm available. And I say that because, I mean, obviously anyone would want that offensive coordinator position, right, or a defensive coordinator position. But the day before, the morning of, and days leading into this weekend, our keys to victory were we nailed it. We absolutely nailed it. We said we needed to run the football up the gut of the Patriots defense, down Milton Williams, and how much of a soft spot that has been for them in the last 3 weeks without Milton. Well, we didn't do much of that in the first half, but when they started to run the football and they ran the ball right down Patriots' throat in the second half, right up the middle, right up the gut in the A-gaps. James Cook runs for 107 yards on 22 carries and 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen runs for another 48, and Ty Johnson for 13. So as a team, I don't know exactly. We're going to have to wait until these statistics come out from the NFL or next gen, but they ran for 168 yards. Yes, their defense gave up 246, which again was another one of our keys, which was stop the damn run. And I don't know. We're going to have to really look into this. I don't know if the Bills' game plan defensively was make them beat us on the ground. We won't allow Drake May to beat us. If that was the case, okay, you did your job. You did what you set out to do, because Drake May ended the game with 155 yards through the air. No touchdowns and 1 interception. He was 14 of 23. So he didn't do much of anything. And including at the end of the game, he had multiple opportunities to try to solidify this win, seal it up, seal up the division, the AFC East going to Denver. Drake May simply didn't do it. He made some poor passes. I wasn't a huge Drake May fan to begin with, but boy, did he make some bad reads, some bad passes, man. Did he have his way on the ground in the first half? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much he did, but he didn't do anything special through the air. And I think that's who Drake May is. I said it earlier this week, made that public. So if you don't believe me, you can go out and double me up and see if I'm telling the truth or not. I certainly said that he's fantastic, meaning I can't really talk shit about the guy. Solid quarterback. But I said with all this MVP talk of him, we'll see how he responds in the heat of it. And I said, I just simply don't think that he's as good as he's being made out to be. Nothing against him. He's a second-year quarterback in the NFL. There's nothing against him. he's going to turn out to be one of the better ones. That is for sure. It's no doubt in my mind. And he'll deserve it. But this also proved that as of this moment in time, I don't know if he's got the ice. I do not know if he's got the cold-blooded nature to just attack and put people out of their misery when they're even questionable. There's no way in hell. Like, flip the script here. If Josh Allen was up 21-0 in this game and ended up losing to Drake May, what would people say about Josh Allen? What would be the consensus of Josh Allen if he was up 21-0 and then 27, right? 24-7, I'm sorry, at halftime and lost this game? This same game. It'd be even worse if it was the same situation, meaning he could have clinched the playoff or clinched the AFC East tonight in that situation and then ended up losing. It would have been bad. So Drake May, for all of the hype that he's been getting and all of the positivity that he's been given, and the MVP, this MVP, that, the best deep ball thrower, which statistically he's one of them, but all of the game management and no turnovers and winning 10 games in a row and ice in his veins, and he doesn't let things get to him, and he's cool hand Luke. For all of that, well, then people need to go the other way as well. You can't have it both ways. You can't give the guy all the praise in the world and then not be able to hit him with reality, which is you were up 24-7 at halftime to win the AFC East to the biggest rivalry that you've had. The team who has won that same division the last 5 years in a row in week 15 in your own stadium, and you shit yourself. That's what you did. So if I hear Drake May for MVP again, I'm going to lose my mind. And whoever says it, I'll just know that they either have some ulterior motives by saying it, or they're just they don't know anything about football. I don't even say football. They don't know anything about sports, athletics, and they have no common sense in their minds either. Sorry. I hate to say it. I'm not begrudging the New England Patriots because they're a good organization. Mike Vrabel is fantastic. They're going to be a thorn in the Bills' side for a very long time. It's probably a rivalry, a mini rivalry that's building up, gaining some steam. But I'm not going to sit here and allow people to say how great Drake May is and tout him at such a level and then not bash him and give the truth when he loses that game when up 24-7 at halftime. You just can't have it both ways. So second half, the Bills literally came out right after halftime and scored touchdowns in 5 straight possessions. 5 straight possessions. And if it wasn't for a broken play, a broken run that ended up going for 65 yards for Trevion Henderson. He got stuffed on the right side with an outside run. I think it was outside the tackles. Buffalo Bills looked like they were going to bring him down in the backfield for a negative 2 or 3 yard play. Great job by him. Backs up, makes a cut, pops it out to the left side, around the end, down the sideline for 65-yard touchdown. If it were not for that, the Patriots would have scored 0 points, most likely, because I think it would have been. I believe that was that on first or second down? If it was on second down, forget about it. If it was on first down, maybe a chance. But if it was on second down, in all likelihood, they would have scored no more than 3 points on that drive, and that's given them the benefit of the doubt of even scoring the 3. They ran for 1 million. Yes. And again, we don't know if that's what the game plan was for the Bills. Maybe it was. Allow the Patriots some leeway when it comes to running the football and just not allow Drake May to beat us through the air. A lot of nickel and dime coverages. And force them to run the football and see if they can beat us that way. It's kind of a ballsy stance to take if you're the Buffalo Bills, if that's what it was. We don't know that that's what it was, but if it was, that's pretty ballsy, being that you're one of the worst, if not the worst, rush defense in the NFL to test somebody or tell them to come get us. Run the football, I dare you. I don't know. But that's what happened. That's what happened. They ran the football with ease. They got basically whatever they wanted all day on the ground, and through the air, they didn't do much of anything. So we're still going to keep on coming back to the point of the Bills' pass defense ranked one of the top few in the NFL. Is it real or is it not? 155 yards for Drake May. Again, no touchdowns, one interception. Mac Hollins led the Patriots with 41 yards receiving on 4 receptions. Stefon Diggs, 3 catches for 26 yards. I would not doubt if Stefon Diggs starts to have issues out there in New England, starting now. Because let's go to Stefon Diggs' game log here of recent. 3 for 26 today. 3 for 26 2 weeks ago, their last game prior to the bye against the Giants, the exact same day. 2 for 20 against the Bengals on November 23rd. So that's 3 games with no more than 3 catches or 26 yards. I don't know how happy he is about that. Now, the week prior to the Bengals, he had 9 catches for 105. 3 games of over 100 this year. 2 games. Well, he's got 9 receptions and 10 receptions. Other than that, 6 or 7. Yeah, I mean, he's having a good year, but I don't know. Lately, he is not getting the targets that I think that he would like to see, and he's accustomed to wanting, I should say. 4, 4, and 3 in the last 3 games. Targets we're talking about. 4, 4, and 3. I don't know. I don't. That's not a hot take. That's not a prediction. I'm kind of saying I wouldn't doubt it if he starts to show his unhappiness about that situation. 24-7 at halftime. 5 straight touchdowns in the second half. 5 straight touchdowns in the second half. I will also tell you that if you have not paid attention, that's okay. Hope you do now. Please like this video and definitely subscribe. I don't know what you're doing if you're not. If you didn't subscribe, please get down there and subscribe immediately. It's 1 click. Very easy, simple, done. You don't have to do it ever again. Hit the notification bell so you can get us daily NFL content, but specifically Buffalo Bills. We're also on Instagram and TikTok. So follow us there. The links are certainly in our bio here, description of this channel. The 2 large keys that we had, number 1 was run the football up the middle against the New England Patriots. They didn't even really attempt that what it seemed whatsoever in the first half today against the Patriots. But in the second half, they really leaned on it, and boy, did it work. And I'm talking up the middle. It was not these duo zones. It was not the zone concepts, excuse me. It was literally just up the gut. Let's roll. James Cook, do your deal. So we knew that because Milton Williams was not playing for his 4th game in a row, I believe. Yeah, 4th game. And he's their run stopper. He's the one that just jams up the center of that line and doesn't allow really many yards at all from the rush game. They were one of the better rush defenses in the NFL throughout this entire season, but in the last 3 games, they're mediocre at best. So that was one of our Cold Front's keys, my keys to this football game. Secondly, you can't turn the ball over. You got to win that turnover margin, which they ended up doing by one interception thrown by Drake May. Nice play by Tre'Davious White for sure. Very good coverage. It was on a 3rd and long. They probably would have punted, and it might have ended up basically with the same field position anyway. Field position, I'm sorry. But nevertheless, they picked him off for the mental game. That's big. You know, might have gotten creeped in his head and given him some negativity or had him lose some confidence for the rest of that game, regardless, which, hey, I'll take that. So I'm not taking anything away, but we did win that turnover battle, and that margin was a +1, which is fantastic. And we said our hot take, and I don't even know how we ended up, but my hot take was that the tight ends would score 2 touchdowns today and have over 120 or 25 yards receiving. So I know Dawson Knox, I'm pretty sure, scored 2 touchdowns. Yes, he did. So Dawson Knox, 37 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 34. So what is that? 71. I think Jackson Hawes had, okay, so 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. We said 125, and that was a hot take. We knew that the tight ends would be or should be another big part of this, especially if you did your job and ran the football up the middle, up the gut against the Patriots, which they ended up finally doing. And we were sitting here watching this game. I was saying, thank you, Lord. One time, just listen to us. We don't just throw stuff up against a wall. We'll do our best to continue to try to what's the word I'm looking for? Predict what will work, what will happen, and give game plans. Because if we can continue to prove that, then who knows? Maybe somebody will pay attention. That's a joke. I'm kidding. But we were right. We were absolutely right about the rush offense. We were absolutely right about the tight ends. We're absolutely right about the turnover battle. And the only thing that I still think we were right about, but they weren't able to accomplish, I should say the Bills, stopping their rush attack with only 6 men in the box. So they weren't able to stop the rush. They had nickel and dime defense. And I'm waiting for these numbers. We'll have to watch the film when that comes out, which will be tomorrow. But they did shut down the run, but they weren't able to. I'm sorry, they stopped. They were shutting down the pass, but they weren't able to hamstring the rush attack with only 6 men in the box. They really got eaten alive. So we have to fix that up. But the blood pressure was insane because of how horrible it was in the beginning. And it's the tale of two halves yet again by the Buffalo Bills. The adjustments in the locker room during halftime are out of control, if I'm being honest. Fantastic. I don't know if the play calling changed again back to Sean McDermott from Mr. Babbage. Maybe. But the defense really played quite well in the second half, and we just ran the ball up the gut until we got to the red zone. I mean, obviously a couple of big conversions through the air before the red zone as well, but it was really just pound the rock, baby. Pound the rock. Keeping ourselves ahead of the chains. 2nd and 4s, 2nd and 5s, not 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8 all day long. 2nd and 4, you can do anything. You open up that playbook. I thought the coaching was relatively poor, if I'm being honest. I think it might come back to bite us in the butt at some point in time. The missed opportunity to challenge the deep ball to Booty on the first drive for the Patriots, I thought was a whiff, was a miss. Now, we don't know for sure if that would have been called back, if there was enough on the replay to overturn that completion to an incomplete. When I watch it, it certainly looks that way, but, not up to me. I think there was a 3rd and 12 opportunity, 3rd and 8 maybe, where we ran a screen pass that has worked in the past to Ty Johnson, no question. We ran it on 3rd and long, but you run it again, you get 4 yards, it's 4th and 4, and then you punt. Don't know why you're running a screen on 3rd and 8 or 3rd and long, and you get half that distance to punt. What do those extra 4 yards do to the punter? Nothing. I thought for sure he ran that play, Joe Brady, simply to get us an easier 4th down in distance to convert and go for it. I really, really do not understand that. That was in the second half. I was flabbergasted on that. So I thought the coaching, especially in the first half, I thought that they outcoached us for sure. Was I negative because we were getting our asses kicked? Yes. But when I'm thinking about this back now, after cooling off a bit, clearly, we won the football game. So you can't go too crazy here. But looking back, I still feel good about my sentiment throughout the game, which was, man, there were some spots that I thought that coaching was really, really poor. Now, is anything going to change? No. Can they make adjustments for next week and the remainder of the season? Yes, and I hope they do. I hope they do. I really do, because we're a threat to anybody. This offense has been together for enough time to where they can put up points against anybody, and boy, can those points come quick, real quick. Um, I don't know. I don't know about this defense. I have some question marks there. It's 2 weeks in a row where we're giving up 30 plus points. I don't think the Patriots played good enough to score 31 points. Their offense wasn't good. I mean, they ran the football tremendously, but they couldn't do anything through the air, really. I don't think that they're a good enough team right now, offense, or the way that they played today, I should say, in order to put up 31 points. They didn't deserve that, especially without forcing a turnover, which they didn't do. Shouldn't have scored that many points. Well, let's just call it what it is. But our offense is strong enough and gels enough and comes up with big plays, which seems to be enough to where we can put up a big number really at any moment in time against any opponent. And I'm real excited about the rest of this year, because Lord knows that there is honesty. And I don't want to be the first guy to say this, but if things happen our way, if we win out, which this, in my opinion, was our toughest battle. Although the Eagles, obviously, I got to watch. I didn't watch it, but the Eagles just waxed the Raiders today. I think it was 28-0 or 31-0 or something, just insane. But if we win out and the Patriots lose one of their 3 games, and by the way, they play the Ravens, who beat the Bengals, the Joe Burrow Bengals, 24 or 28-0 today. Are the Ravens back? I don't know. They've looked horrible, but are they back kind of in action and playing real football? Well, if they are, in 2 weeks, no, I'm sorry, next week, the Ravens have the Patriots at home. And if the Steelers lose tomorrow night to the Dolphins, Monday Night Football, then the Ravens and Steelers are going to have the exact same record. So the Ravens Patriots is going to be as big a game as there ever was for the Ravens to keep their playoff hopes alive. And the Steelers, by the way, go into Detroit next week. The Patriots might lose another game, and if they lose another game and we win out, we are the AFC East champions. I mean, you can't make this up. It's right there, and this is not like conspiracy. This is not, a hope, a pipe dream up in the clouds. This is legit. This is legit. If we win out, Patriots lose next week, AFC East champions, Buffalo Bills, which would then turn into either a 1 or a 2 seed, by the way. Denver winning just now really helped them solidify their 1 seed. They would need to lose. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars next week. Then they play the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, who just got injured today. Why the hell would he play next week? So that is looking like that's going to be a win. And then they play the Chargers in week 18 at home. So let's see, the Broncos are not going to lose next week to the Chiefs when the Chiefs have nothing to play for. I'm sorry, they play the Jaguars next week. Okay, that's my apology. That's going to be a game. I haven't really bought in to the Jaguars, but I haven't really bought into Denver either. Denver's defense is fantastic, and I don't know how they really played today. I only saw the glimpses at the end. Their defense, I think, saved it for all I saw. Micah Parsons went down with an injury, and then they scored, I don't know, 10 unanswered points or something like that. But I don't think they're going to lose to the Chiefs. And then they play geez. So, all right. So let's just plug this in here. This is a hypothetical. They beat the Jaguars. So we're the 5th seed right now, by the way. Wait a minute. Let me refresh this. No, that's what I thought. We're the 6th seed, being that Los Angeles beat the Chiefs today to send the Chiefs packing, by the way. So next week, we beat the Browns, Kansas City, Tennessee. It doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to throw this hypothetical in. Baltimore beats the Patriots. Lions beat the Steelers. Texans beat the Raiders. Denver, yeah, if Denver beats the Jaguars go into 7th seed from 3rd, and now Houston's the 3rd seed. Holy moly, winning there, right? Oh my goodness. All right, let's finish this up. Dolphins beat the Bengals. That would be nice. It would give them more of a desire to win in week 18 against the Patriots. Denver's going to beat Kansas City in week 17. It just is. Oh, man. Texans play the Chargers in Los Angeles, week 17. Wow. How do you pick that one? I don't think it really matters for our seeding much, but let's say the Chargers win. I don't know. Wait. Oh, my God. The Chargers win. Oh, yeah, that's right. It sends us back to the 6th seed. Green Bay to beat Baltimore is my guess. Pittsburgh to beat Cleveland in Cleveland. Patriots to beat the Jets, I would assume. Buffalo to take care of it. Philadelphia. Okay, that moves back to the 5 seed. Jacksonville to beat the Colts. Jacksonville is 3rd seed. Okay. Here we go. Now, Broncos. Wow, Broncos might be 15-2, folks. Broncos might be 15-2. Wait a minute now. So, where did I have? Oh, we're gonna do this some other time. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. The 1 seed is absolutely in reach. Okay, the 2 seed is absolutely in reach. Do we need a lot of help? Yes, but regardless of all of the help that we need, today was an enormous day, an enormous win that was absolutely needed. Backs against the walls. This is the first time, in my opinion, that we've had such a hype game. Last week was a must win. This week was even more so of a must win because of who we were playing. Not only a conference team, but a division team, division rival who's fighting for the 1st seed or for the division championship. And we were down 24-7 at halftime. I'm fearing a little bit that we cannot continue this to try to force our team to have to come back from being down enormous and making these adjustments in the second half. But a win's a win in the NFL. You take it. You have to make the adjustments. We're going to get into some film later on. I think that we'll get after what happened in the rush defense, and I think it might even show. I hope that it will show whether or not it seemed as if that was the game plan or if we just got destroyed. I hope that is not the case, but it could be. The film's going to tell all, and then we got to get into it. We got to get into the Cleveland Browns. We got to get into the Cleveland Browns, which is just as important now. Like we said earlier today, every game is more important than the last now for the rest of the year, for the rest of the season, regular season or playoffs. Every game is more important than the next or than the last. So appreciate you coming in here. Please, like I said, subscribe to this channel. It's free. Like this video. Get your notifications. Follow us along. I appreciate all of you. Take a look at the keys to the game. I promise you, we nailed almost all of them. Almost all of them. some of the things that the Bills didn't do. If they would have, it would have been a much easier. But we called a majority of it. We're doing this via film. We're doing this via studying. We're not just throwing shit against the wall and hoping that it sticks. We actually pay attention and we try to be a little bit of ahead of the curve and predict some things. So we appreciate everybody in here. Thank you so much. And we shall talk to you guys soon. Cold front, go Bills. Have a great day, baby. Victory Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.